Hey folks, Dr. Rowe here. Hope you're well. I want to tackle a subject which most people know is quite a big one, and that is tax, specifically inheritance tax. I've only got literally 5 minutes to cover this. So if you want to know how much you pay, how's it work, and also can you gift when it comes to tax? Can you gift part of your estate, etc.? Hang out to the end of this video and we'll cover that as well. So let's talk about inheritance tax. Firstly, inheritance tax is paid on death, and this is on the estate that you own. So the estate could be your home. And by the way, before I go any further, I'm not a tax advisor. Okay, so you need to go and seek professional advice. This is not intended to be advice. This is just purely based on my information. So the purpose of this video is from information purposes only. Go and seek professional advice. So based on my understanding of this, when somebody passes away, their estate, which could be their buy-to-let properties, their home, etc., is all added up. But let's just take it from the point of view you're watching this as, let's say it's your home. Then there is a 40% tax to pay. So let me put this into some numbers and you can write this up. So inheritance tax is 40%. That's the first thing, and I'll put this on the screen for you. Now, how is that calculated? It's calculated above a specific threshold. Now, at the moment, at the time of recording this, that threshold is £325,000. So I'm going to put this in here for you so you can see it. So if you're watching this in the UK and you've got a house that's below £325,000, strictly speaking, you shouldn't have an issue in terms of your children having to pay inheritance tax. Again, seek professional advice on this. However, let's say you own a property worth £600,000, or let's say you own, a home worth 200, but you've got a buy-to-let property worth 400. Effectively, your estate there is 600,000. So how they calculate this, and I've written this down to make sure I go through this with you. The first thing that happens is they would, let's say it's worth 600,000. Again, hopefully you're going to write this down with me. You do 600K. Right, I'm just going to do this live with you, minus 325K. 325K. All right, now you can do the maths on this yourself, but I've done this prior to doing the video. That is £275,000. So let's say you've passed away and a calculation is done. Now I'm addressing this as you as an individual. If there's two of you, then there's a different calculation because you both have your own allowance. Again, I'm not going to do that here. I just want to keep it simple for the purpose of this. £275,000 is what the 40% is paid on. Okay, so what does that equate to, Dr. Rowe? All right, well, let's put this back up here for a minute. That is equal to 275,000. So then we take 275 and you multiply that by 40%. Okay. Now, when you do that, you come out with £110,000. So that effectively, in this example, is what the inheritance tax would have to be paid by your children, assuming they've got the money. If they haven't, then it becomes very challenging because effectively the estate could be sold off. And there's been many cases where this has happened, and then the government would take the tax, and then whatever's left, your children would take then. So be mindful of that. All right. Now, I want to wrap this up by asking the question, what else can you do? Well, one of the things you can do is you can gift your estate. Now, I'm not going to go into the details of this right now, but you can gift the whole of your estate. And as long as you live at the time of recording this 7 years, and it goes on a sliding scale, after 7 years, in the event of your death, then your children would pay no inheritance tax. It could even be gifted down to, for example, your grandchildren. Another conversation. Check that out with your solicitor, your legal advisor, your tax advisor. Well, there's complications to that because, what if you pass away inside the 7 years? That's something to consider. And also, officially, you can't live in the property if you've gifted it. Again, I'm sharing with you the broad strokes. You do need to seek advice on this. The last thing is this. You are allowed every year a £3,000 annual exemption, right? So you can give away £3,000. So let me put this up here. And you may be aware of this, you may not be, but let me just put this up finally as the last point here. So if, for the sake of argument, you've got a £600,000 estate, in a year, you can gift £3,000, or in the event of your death, £3,000 can come off that 600. It doesn't sound like a lot, does it? But effectively, that can happen. You can actually, I made a note of this as well, you can actually roll over that £3,000 for 1 year. So it can be carried forward for 1 year into another year. Again, be mindful of that. Again, check with your tax advisor on this. It's not a huge amount, of course, in the scale of a 600 grand property, but you are allowed on a year by year basis to gift, and if in the event of a death it's deducted off the property, there's potentially a rollover from the year before as well. That's all I'm going to say for now. It's a complicated subject, can be a sensitive subject as well, but well worth looking into. And as I said already, please don't take this as gospel. I'm trying to give you broad strokes so at least you have an awareness of this, because some people haven't even thought about it. The other thing to think about is, how is the property owned? Is it owned jointly or tenants in common? Because if it's in tenants in common, effectively you can take your half of the property and do something with it, for example, gift it. Or if it's jointly owned, in the event of your death, the whole of the estate goes over and sits on the shoulders of your partner, whoever you're married to, for example. All right. Again, conversation to have with your tax advisor. I will see you all soon. Hopefully that was useful.